in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting, FLSD Policy 0165.1. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, you may be seated. Item number 2, opening ceremony. I realize I haven't done it probably this entire year, so if you guys don't mind, I'd love to read it.
For sure.
Okay? All right, our mission is to foster academic and social growth for each student in a safe, supportive school environment. Our vision is to be a learning community that inspires our students and staff to think critically, grow intellectually, and live with integrity. Item number 3, additions to and approval of the agenda. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Do I have a second? I'll second. Okay. Any additions to the agenda?
I do have an addition.
Okay.
I have an additional invalid purchase order that needs to be added to the one that's already on the agenda.
Okay, so we need to amend the agenda. Okay.
To the table.
All right, all those in favor of amending the agenda, please indicate by saying aye. We'll need a, okay. Do you need a roll call vote for that? Okay. Okay. Okay.
Ms. Lee?
Yes.
Ms. Edmore?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yep.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Moving on to item number 4, approval of the minutes from the regular meeting of September 15th, 2025. May I have a motion, please?
I'll second.
All right. All those in favor of approving the minutes, please indicate by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Moving on to item number 5, administrative report. And it brings us to Mr.
Yeah, good afternoon. Good evening, board and guests, friends, family, all of that. We wanted to give you an overview of the district report card. We took some time to really study it and look at it very, very carefully to make sure that there were no glitches, there were no issues in there. There was some new data in there that we wanted to make sure that people understood. And I want the public to understand one significant purpose of the report card. We're talking about growth versus achievement, 2 different things. And that's how we're going to start sharing our data in the future about how the district is growing. Even though we may not be hitting the top echelon at this point, it's about growth and how our kids are progressing. So we'll have Dr. Dining come up.
Good evening, board members. You have a copy of the presentation. Thanks, Grant. Did you shake the last?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Wait, before we dive into the numbers, I just want to give you a lens for how we look at learning in every classroom. In any given classroom, during any given lesson, we have typically 3 types of students. We have those who are struggling, we have those who are on track, and we have those who are accelerated. And it is our responsibility as educators to make sure that all 3 groups are growing, just as Superintendent Smith said. And that's why we believe project-based learning, you'll hear it called PBL at times for short, is a framework through which we can achieve this, because it allows educators to design lessons that simultaneously address that growth, achievement, and mastery. So in this overview, as Superintendent Smith talked about, what we want to look at is the reality of here's where we're at, and then the trends and gaps that we notice, the root causes of why are we where we're at, and then what we're going to do about it. And then we want to paint a picture of what success looks like. And as we've talked about previously, we like looking at a 3-year trend. That lets us know that the systems in place are actually working, where 1 year it might just be a fluke or good luck or something that we can't systemically implement. So the reality, here's our overall district report card, the ratings for us as a district. You see a consistent picture. We're pretty solidly in the 2-star range, which tells us that we're not yet seeing the level of student learning and growth that we expect for our Finneytown kids. The good news is that the data shows us exactly where we need to focus. A quick explanation of the difference between each of these. Achievement is if they're proficient or higher on any given state test. Progress is what Superintendent Smith was talking about. That looks at their growth. So where did that student start, and did they grow at least a year's worth in the year we had them? Gap closing looks at what are sometimes called our subgroups. So different groups of students, our students with disabilities, our English language learners, our students who are economically disadvantaged, and are we growing all of those groups and closing the gaps? Graduation is the percent of our students graduating. Early literacy is looking at our foundational reading scores. There's 3 factors that go into this component. This is obviously an area of significant concern and one that we are focusing on. And then CCWMR stands for College and Career Workforce and Military Readiness. It's new to the report card this year, and it's measuring how ready are our graduates for life after high school. And there's several different components that go into that rating as well. So when we dig into it a little bit more, looking at our foundation, our grades 3 through 8, elementary and middle school, you can see our scores, our proficiency is the first number, and then in parentheses is the state average. So in reading, about 41% of our students are scoring proficient or higher. In math, you see something similar. Our proficiency levels are not where we need them to be, with about 29% of our students scoring proficient or higher. And our science scores reflect the same underlying issue. We know that when our literacy skills are weak, our students struggle to show what they know in any of our content areas. So that literacy is fundamental, and we're all responsible for it. Looking at our high school scores, it's a little bit more of a mixed picture, because you can see in ELA and US history, our students are scoring above the state average, which is something to celebrate. In other subjects, we are still below the state average, so we know we need to grow there. But really, this isn't about pointing out any specific gaps. It's rather looking at the learning of our secondary students overall. And we see a continuation of the same trends that we were seeing in grades 3 through 8. Some students are achieving and growing at high levels, but others are still not reaching their full potential. So considering trends and gaps, we take a look at where we stand compared to last year. And when we look at that, we see that while there have been a few small gains and a couple areas where we stayed the same, we're not moving the needle the way we need to. And that tells us that our current systems are not yet consistent enough to produce the improvement year to year that we need. We continue to see gaps between those groups that we talked about, the growth for our students with disabilities, our English language learners, and those who are economically disadvantaged. And again, that tells us that these gaps are systemic and not situational. So this is something we can't tweak our way out of with quick, easy fixes. It's going to take coordinated, systemic improvement across instruction, intervention, and support. But the data is just a symptom. What we really need to understand is why we're where we're at. So as Superintendent Smith said, we spent a lot of time looking honestly at what is driving these results and came up with these 4 priorities. One thing, we have instructional inconsistency. We know we have great teachers, but not every classroom is using the same high-quality instructional materials or aligned strategies. Also, our intervention system needs strengthening. The interventions are not always being presented in a way that the students need them, or not necessarily as timely as they need them. Thirdly, we want to use data more consistently and regularly. We collect a lot of it, but don't always act on it quickly enough to adjust the instruction. And then the last piece, attendance and engagement, continue to be barriers. We know when a student misses instructional time, that compounds the challenges. So understanding these causes is what helps us target our responses. So then we can build on what is working and then address what's not. Here are things currently happening this year we're already doing to address the challenges we see. Our math and ELA teams are partnering with our facilitators to increase our understanding of project-based learning and having data-driven discussions as teams. All of our math teachers in grades 4 through 12 are working with Chad Cornelius. He is a consultant and also a middle school math teacher who is helping us refine our instructional practices and align content. At the elementary school, we have expanded the literacy block so that there's more support available during that time at each of the grade levels. And there's also, we've also been offering professional development opportunity around special education literacy training and Tier 1 instruction. We have regular data cycles with Acadience and MAP, which stands for Measures of Academic Progress. That is an assessment tool we use 3 times a year. And then teachers also have common assessments, and those are all tools they can use to monitor and adjust learning in real time. Our gifted coordinator is collaborating and co-planning with 4 different grade levels and 6 individual teachers, and has embedded extensions in our literacy curriculum to help grow our more advanced learners. And she has also aligned our math assessment questions to the Ohio State test in grades 3 through geometry to help deepen student understanding there. And finally, we have high-quality professional development around John Hattie's research and visible learning. We have high-quality professional development around project-based learning, and that's something we're implementing district-wide this year, around gifted instruction and around literacy and math, to ensure that teachers have the tools they need to maximize growth and achievement. So painting that picture of what we're looking for over the next 3 years, an increase in our proficiency in reading and math, steady growth there, as well as narrowing that achievement gap among our student groups so that we know every student is getting an equitable opportunity to succeed. We want those growth scores to show progress that's above and beyond the state benchmark. We want to reduce chronic absenteeism because we know students can't accelerate their learning if they're not consistently in the classroom. And then increase our graduation rate and student preparedness for life beyond high school. In order to do that, we are asking for and need required intentional sustained work not only in the classrooms but across the district and in partnership with our board, with our families and our community. It's a sustained investment in people and systems. As we mentioned before, quick fixes are not going to work. This is about long-term strategic progress. We need shared ownership, recognizing that we all play a role in our students' growth and need to partner with one another. We're asking for an openness to innovation and flexibility to adjust when the data indicates something's not working. An example of 2 adjustments we've currently put in place. Beginning next year, we're offering the PSAT to all of our juniors. That provides us with information about college readiness, and then that also gives all of our juniors an opportunity to qualify for the National Merit Scholarship Program. And then starting this year, we're implementing that MAP, Measures of Academic Progress, K through 8, in ELA and math, and that's given 3 times a year. Because we believe with these steps, we can ensure we're providing equitable opportunities for all of our students to grow, achieve, and reach their full potential. Questions or? Thanks.
Thank you.
I do. Okay, go back to slide 9. Okay, first bullet, the increasing proficiency in reading and math. That's all about literacy, period. And the students that are struggling with the literary parts in reading are probably struggling in science and struggling in history and every other content. And I think it's going to be very important for the entire team, all of us, to understand that literacy is not just the responsibility of the reading teacher or the English teacher. It's everybody's responsibility. That's how we close the gap. I also believe that every student, regardless of where they are academically right now, should be on a reading improvement plan, because every kid can improve. You mentioned earlier about the student who struggles, the student in the middle, and the student who achieves. Everybody moves to the right. That means that that's where the growth. But you also mentioned the other part that I think is more important than anything else. These are not gimmicks. These are not just by chance. These are things that are very, very fundamental to our work. That's why it's important for us to make sure that we have that PSAT, a measurable outcome, and using norm reference data. And then the other part that makes it more imperative is the MAP scores. We have a ton of data. We have enough data to fill this room. The issue, as I've had the pleasure of interviewing teachers, is what do we do with it? We have to be very, very intentional. And what's going to end up coming out of this is students are going to have the opportunity to have individual academic plans, specifically just for them, based on the growth that we talk about. And then they'll make sure that they get the achievable scores that we talk about. Honors diploma students, how many? 8 last year. But National Honor Society, 25. Those students should have been growing into that next experience. And you will never get to the next level without the PSAT. You won't have that scholar that we keep talking about. So I appreciate your commitment to the work. I appreciate how you had to take the deep dive. There are some hits that we have to talk about. We don't want the 1 stars, and I don't think that the public is encouraged by that either. But you have to understand the work of the teachers. They're not celebrating the 1 stars either. It's a lot of anxiety along the way. So we get better by rowing in tandem together, and I think that the district is in a good position to look at itself in the mirror and figure out how do we get better every day, not just when it comes to test time. Okay.
One question I had was about chronic absenteeism. Do you know off the top of your head what our current rate is, or what we can do as a school district? Is it because it's something that we're doing here, or is it something that's going on at home, and how much control do we have over that? I'm not sure who that question is for, maybe.
People have to bring their kids to school.
Yeah, so how do we affect that?
I can get the exact rate for you, and we have a team that's working on it. There's no one simple answer. Like there are a lot of pieces. Chronic absenteeism is not determined just by how many times a student is absent.
Right.
It includes the tardies. It's even if it's medically excused. So there are a lot of factors that work into it. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other discussion? Okay. No, go ahead.
Well, I think, okay. I do have, I want to reiterate something too. Our literary staff in the elementary, I know they're doing what they can to put programs and systems in place to help improve our reading for our kids. Is there other things that we are not doing, or something that we can, what else can we be doing to help our kids get ready for school, our pre-kindergartners, and what else can we do when we can catch these kids before they get to 3rd grade?
Okay, all right, those are very good questions. From my seat, I believe that we need to know, what does the data say? What does it say, and what are we supposed to do with it? You know, if a young person's struggling academically, we don't continue to let them struggle. But I think the other part that we have to be very, very aware of, we don't now start labeling them students with disabilities and start moving them into that track, because that's easy to do, but that doesn't solve the issue or solve the problem. I think we need to go and scale down and figure out exactly how our kids are testing, and then what do we do with the test information that we have. Do we really take time to meet with our parents and have those real conversations about these are things that you can do with your child at home? And when you look at the third grade guarantee, where a lot of our students struggled to get to fourth grade, there really should have been a fundamental piece as a summer program right immediately, right now. You struggled going into fourth grade, we're going to give you some support before the school year starts as a summer program, while the information is still kind of simmering and it's while it's still fresh. I do believe philosophically in after-school programs, but they can't feel like a consequence for a kid. So how do we embed this work within the scope of the school day, and then you get better outcomes? But there has to be a lot of conversation with parents about, here's some things that you can do at home to help your child reinforce with vocabulary. That's the literacy block that we keep addressing, but we're not doing as much as we could do with it. And I think we're going to be very, very attentive to what do we do with the literacy and how do we promote it all the way through our entire system. Through music, through arts. Literacy is everything and everywhere, but we keep isolating it, making it about one content, but it's all content. So that's the plan.
I know last year Gerald had some students that were coming and reading with some of the kids. Is that still happening this year, do you know?
I believe so.
Okay, I know that made a big impact last year from what I've heard, so.
Can I ask, you may not know this yet, so if you want to get back to us whenever you do. Do you know if it's a problem with curriculum? Is it implementation? Is it lack of staffing? I guess we'll find out as time goes on.
Well, people talk about the test being biased. It is what it is. Our students still have to rise to the occasion, and we can't make excuses for it. The one thing that I can tell you as I've traveled throughout the school district, I've not heard any teacher talk about excuses. They talk about how to figure out how to get better. So that's a good nurturing part of who we are. Many school districts, people talk about, well, it's this, it's that. Now, we do have the absenteeism as a fundamental piece, but I think when young people miss school and we have a robocall or we have a clerical person calling home, it's real different than that instructional leader calling home. We're saying you're missing valuable instructional time as opposed to the clerk saying you're late. You're late for instruction. And I think the teacher could really carry a lot of that weight by saying you're late for instruction. This is what you're missing because these are the fundamental things that will make you that leader and learner that you want to be. Yes, sir.
Do we have a process when students have missed a lot of school? Do we have like a conference or, someone from truancy come or like kind of have a conversation with the parents?
Those things are in place, but we need more. So I think that kind of transitions us into the next thing, the school calendar. The school calendar is in front of you tonight, not for you to vote on it, but for you to see just what kind of changes we're talking about. There's a very important part of the school calendar. It happens in real time, but it needs to be on this calendar, and that's why it's here. The interim. The interim report is very, very important. And it's going to be placed on the school calendar because it's usually like a 5-week interval where it tells parents, how is my child doing fundamentally in that classroom? You can look in Progress Book, you can look in Dazzle, you can do all these other kind of things that we do. But when it's on the calendar, maybe that becomes another conversation where parents begin to ask their child, how are you doing academically? The interim gives us a gateway to say that this is not the final report. This is a report in between. So if you're doing great, keep up the good work. If you're not, then we want to give you some support before the 5 weeks says it's a final. I didn't mean to jump on the calendar thing, but I've been anxious to talk about this for like a while.
Can you share so in the past, I'm not sure exactly how we've received our calendars, but it's some sort of back and forth with the union and.
Yeah, so there's a real calendar committee with teachers, administrators, clerical folks, just a variety of people, because this calendar really will go into effect next year. But one of the things that I believe is fundamentally sound, is to let parents know 2 years in advance exactly what your calendar is going to look like, what your dates will look like, when there's going to be days off with your children, what those testing cycles will look like. You know, the more information we give, the better the collaboration is, the better the outcomes will be. You know, a 2-year calendar is a basic for me because I think parents need to know what's going to be happening next year with my child so that I can adequately prepare.
So to this, I sent you an email a couple of weeks ago. I was at my office was putting on a legal symposium and I had to work it, but it was a conversation, it was on the school to prison pipeline. And it was talking about behaviors in school and different ways to combat negative behaviors. But one of the large focuses was hunger.
Okay.
We all know that if kids are not hungry, they do better in school. And one of the suggestions and was to try not to have non-school days. So when the kids are away and staff is in, to try to not have those on Mondays and Fridays. Because having it on the weekends adds to the consecutive number of days that kids are eating. So if they're out Saturday and Sunday and then they're out on Monday, that's a third day. Because school might be the only meals that these kids are guaranteed to get. And
Totally
especially
agree.
with us having the free meals, the grant that we have for that is something that I would like to take advantage of. I notice it's not in here, but if that is something we could talk about in the future, it clicked with me when I heard it. And I think it would be something that could be beneficial. I don't know why we always pick Mondays and Fridays, if it's just ease. Is it easier for parents? I don't know. If they know far enough in advance, you know, maybe just getting a Monday off to make it a long weekend is, I don't know how it works, but as long as there's a discussion there, I think to try and benefit our kids as best as possible, I think we'd rather have them go 2 days, not guaranteed that they're getting a meal rather than 3 or 4.
Yeah, and I do, those are good points, but I think people may not really understand how important the meal is. It's critical. It's critical. And in other districts where you may have to make the call to, because of inclement weather, that really punishes the system as it relates to young people. Because they're banking on something to happen that particular day. The snow comes in and you can't have school, and we look at it as we're waiting for them to plow the road to get it ready, and the kid is thinking about what's in the fridge. And if you're staying home, more than likely you're consuming mom and dad's dinner for that night because you will eat something, and then it wrecks the system for the rest of the time. So I'll definitely make sure that we make that a point to look at that, because I think it's very important.
I remember the lines of people coming through to make sure they got food
Yeah.
for their kids, right? And during that time, that was difficult for everybody getting groceries and stuff. But yeah, it's just something if we can talk about, I think it would be beneficial. It may not work, but it may be something
It's
that
worth a
we
shot.
can try to do.
Yes, sir. Okay. So we wanted you to have a look at the calendar in advance, and hopefully we'll come back next month with the opportunity to vote on it after the committee has had a chance to refresh it and digest it and see where we are. And we'll see.
Sounds great. Well, thank you for all the time that you put
Yeah,
into
thank you.
this, and you and the team, and we appreciate this. So. Any other discussion? Moving on to item number 6, public address. All right, any more public addresses? All right. I just have to read a few notes here. The board believes it is in the best interest and the best interest of the students of the district to hear comments from members of the public. It has been therefore a long-standing practice of the board to encourage and allow residents to speak at a public meeting. This may be done by completing the bottom portion of this form and giving it to the board president prior to the board meeting. The following guidelines ensure that everyone interested in addressing the board may do so, and that the board conducts the business of the school district in an effective and efficient manner. Number 1, attendees must register their intent to participate in the public participation portion of the meeting upon their arrival at the meeting by completing the form and returning it to the board president or presiding officer. 2, each speaker is limited to 5 minutes. 3, For the public record, each speaker addressing the board must state their name, address, and group affiliation if and when appropriate. Any material or handouts must be presented to the treasurer for record. 4, the naming of individuals, profanity, abusive language, and speeches that invade individual privacies will not be tolerated or permitted. Number 5, the board will take no action regarding matters or issues presented through public address and the meeting in which the public address was made. All necessary follow-ups will be made verbally or in writing at a later date. And first, we have Katrina and Lee Harrell. Come on up, welcome, and thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. Thanks for
Thank
having us.
you.
All right. Check. Is this on? Or is this just for recording? Awesome. Well, good evening. My name's Lee.
And I'm Katrina.
Do we have to say our address?
You can, yeah, we have it here, but you can say it.
587
Sure.
Compton Road, Finneytown, beautiful Finneytown, Ohio. We're here tonight as community members, taxpayers, and most importantly, parents of 3 elementary Wildcats, who each receive special education services and have since the day that they walked through the school doors. 1 in 4 elementary students at Finneytown, that's 25% of our students, if you know math like me, receive special education services and are on individualized education plans, IEPs. Behind that number, though, are children, our children, who climb mountains every single day to reach skills that others just stroll past.
Their needs deserve more than an acknowledgement. They deserve accountability, transparency, and a clear commitment from the district to ensure that every child with an IEP receives the support they are promised. These students make up a quarter of our elementary school and of our community, and their success must be a part of every discussion and every decision that this board makes. We're asking for 3 things tonight: accountability, transparency, and collaboration.
So first, accountability and transparency in funding. Our district receives, as you know, state and federal dollars specifically for special education services, funds meant to be the foundation, not the footnote of our students' success. These resources ensure that students with IEPs receive the supports, instruction, and opportunities guaranteed under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. However, to our knowledge, there is not currently a clear public accounting for how these funds flow, how much directly benefits our students in our classrooms, how much supports professional development, staffing, or administrative costs. So we're navigating in the dark when we should be building in the daylight. The board, we would ask that the board provides transparent, regular reports on how special education funds are allocated and spent, and how those expenditures align with student outcomes. Our families and staff deserve to see that resources intended for these students are truly reaching them, seed money that actually hits the soil.
Second, collaboration through Special Education Advisory Committee. We're respectfully requesting that the district establish a standing advisory committee composed of teachers, related service providers, administrators, and parents of students with disabilities. This committee would serve as a bridge between the district and the community, sharing input on policies, identifying obstacles to service delivery, and helping prioritize needs. Many districts across Ohio have used this model successfully. It builds trust, it promotes shared understanding, and ensures decisions are informed by the voices most directly affected by them.
And third, a comprehensive needs analysis by an outside organization. We propose that the district engage an independent organization to conduct a thorough review of our current special education programs, evaluating staffing levels, caseloads, instructional practices, compliance, and outcomes. An objective needs assessment will provide data-driven insight into what's working well, where gaps may exist, and what resources are needed. This is not about assigning blame, This is about ensuring that every student with an IEP receives an education that they are promised, and that our teachers have the tools to deliver it in resource rooms, general education classrooms, sensory spaces, calm down corners, and in every space in between. It ensures our teams are up to date on the most recent literature and best practices in special education service delivery, because of course, every child matters, every single one.
Gandhi is credited with saying, "The true measure of any society can be found in how it treats its most vulnerable members." A quarter, 25% of our kids are counting on us to get this right. We receive significant funding designated for their success, and we owe it to our community and to our children, our future, to make sure that those resources are used effectively, transparently, and collaboratively.
30 seconds.
So to close, by creating a special education advisory committee, conducting an external needs analysis, and committing to clear financial reporting, we can strengthen our programs, support our staff, and most importantly, ensure that our students with disabilities aren't just included in the conversation, but centered in the solution. Thank you so much for your time and your attention and for your commitment to our students, truly. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Sorry about that.
Right
All
on
right.
the dime.
Yes.
Right on point.
Perfect. All right, Susan Hartman. Susan? And I want to apologize. I don't think you got a chance to speak last month, so I apologize. I think there was a mix-up. So you can come forward or you can stay in your seat, whichever you
Those are for
prefer.
Seth and Jamie. We'll copy for you.
One thing I'd like to point out, but I didn't put on, can we have a sign out there that says Board of Education meeting this door? I was running late because I went around to the other door, which was the door last year, and this year it's this door. So, just a note on the door or a sign out there that says Board of Education meeting. The first thing I'd like to talk about, or tell you guys, brag, whatever, the Crusaders, the 5, 6, 7-year-old football team, well, you know, undefeated. I am so proud of these kids, and I thank the board for anything that they have done to help this situation. The last Saturday game, not this past one, because we're going to tournament, and we got a week off. I'm so proud. There was a mix-up. If there is some way that there could be a communication, the band needed the parking lot, but we had so many parents turning out for the games and for the opponents, so to speak, the other team, the visitors. There was no place to park. And I know with the construction, it's tough. But with the band coming in too, and limited parking as it was, I don't want Finneytown to get a bad reputation for not welcoming visitors. I know the construction is bad, but communication should be a big factor here. We are very, very proud of all of the Crusaders. I just want to thank you for any support that you have given. I'm not even sure how the monies flow and how the support flows, but we are very proud. The next thing, I'm going to kind of piggyback on yours. My grandson currently goes to Best Point Behavior School. They're talking about in a year to year and a half coming back to Finneytown. My big concern is that there won't be blood again. My grandson has severe post-traumatic stress, many, he's frustrated easily. He needs a quiet room. I hear that there is now a quiet room. I'm thankful for that. Anything that can be done to support special ed. He is behind on reading. He is on track on math. But it's because we had to spend the last 2 years trying to get his behavior under control. There has been no blood in the past 2 years. He did attack teachers and staff here, and I apologize for that. But like they said, we need more support for special needs kids. It's not his fault, but it is something that needs to be done. I agree with everything that they said with the special needs all the way through. The Best Point has been the very best place for him. 6 kids for 2 adults. They're able to get him out of the classroom immediately when he needs to be gotten out. In Finneytown, with 30 kids in a classroom with 1 adult, I don't know that there's anybody that can get a kid out that quickly. Just want to reiterate what you were saying. He's a good kid. He's a fun kid. But boy,
56 seconds.
thank you.
Keep
That's
going.
all I
I'm
have
sorry
to say.
interrupt you. I'm
That's
sorry.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you, and thanks for all you do in the community. Thank you. All right.
Is that it?
Is that everyone? Okay. All right, moving on to item number 7, review of action steps from last month. Number 1, board retreat planning email. Mr. Plott. You have an update for that?
Okay, sorry. I do have an update. I want to know if we can have a executive, if you are still interested in sitting down with the 3 new board members coming in, with everyone's schedule that we have, that was given to me, emailed me, and everything else. I do know that the majority will be here on November 10th, and if we can have an executive session, if that's something that you still want to do. Yes, do an executive session after the board.
Then I would be free.
Yes, but not all of it would be covered in the executive session, depending on what the topic is.
So what are we, I guess we need to establish what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
That's probably the foundation where we need to start. Like, are we trying to, pass the torch in a more positive manner? Are we trying to, I'm trying to understand what exactly the board would like to do for this meeting. I think it's the first step.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought the intention was for us to go over and acclimate them and help them understand where we are as a school, where our policies are, what we've done, and all that. Most of that does not fall under executive session.
Some of it could. We might need to get some sort of, we could just view the reasons for executive session and come up with a list of all of topics that could be discussed and topics that couldn't be, and we need to make sure that if we were going to do that in executive session, that we stick only to those topics. And there would be lots of things that we could discuss, but there would be lots of things that we could not.
I support what you're saying. I'm just a little bit concerned with our time frame. Like, the holidays are approaching fast. I'm a little bit worried of how we're going to squeeze this in at this point.
Yeah, it's looking less likely at this point.
To which, too, there is plans to sit down with the boards, so we can, with the new board after elections, that way we could get into a certain groove that we can actually hit the ground running. There is plans that has been made, that I've been talking to you guys about. I'm not trying to exclude you guys, but just to keep things moving smoothly and efficiently, so that the 5 of us, the 5 new board, 5 individuals of that 1 new board, that's better, we can just basically, 1, hit the ground running, 2, we already have a built relationship between the 5 of us, and hopefully find a way to work in more of a cohesive manner.
So what you're saying is for the meeting on December 6th, that would just be, I'm supposed to press this when I talk?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
And then I press it when I'm done?
If you want to mute it, yes.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, so what you're saying is that for the meeting on December 6th, that just be the members of the new board. It would not be a board meeting.
Correct.
It would be just a meeting.
It would just be a meeting with the 5 of, the 3 that's not, the 3 board elects, you and me, since we're going to be still on there, and as long as Ms. Ruffin and Mr. Smith can still attend, we'll have that conversation.
Yeah. And then for the meeting on November 10th, the idea would be to invite them for an executive session with approved topics by legal counsel.
That will fit within the executive.
After the election, right? My understanding is that's okay, based on my conversation that I had, was after the election, it's okay to meet with board members-elect. But we'd have to make sure we stick exactly to that topic. So we just need to decide if there's, those that are here that will not be on the board next year, we need to decide if we'd like to be a part of that meeting, if we should extend that invitation. And if it should be done publicly or an executive session.
As a board, I I will say, I am somewhat offended at how this has gone, and I know I'm disappointed. We've been talking about this for months. We had put this out, we had planned a retreat, we decided not to do it in the summer, we wanted to do it in the fall, in order to be able to start planning and preparing for the new board to come on and make it a success, and it does feel a lot like we are disregarding the 3 board members who are leaving, and now we've run out of time. And yes, that is a legitimate concern now. We have run out of time, but.
Well, again, I was proponent for the retreat in the middle of the summer. We inadvertently switched directions, which made us have to put a pause on the retreat so we can make sure we go into the direction that is needed. And so to do that, we couldn't meet in the summertime.
We decided not to.
Correct.
For that reason.
For that
It wasn't
reason,
that we
and then
couldn't.
so with the new superintendent, well, Mr. Smith trying to get caught up and everything else, and so when we started doing this, like I said, when I emailed you everybody, here's the small time frame. Can you please give me what you want? And I try to fold what I can fold, and also make sure that the 3 can actually attend.
Yeah.
So
We could go back
I
and
am-
forth, like pointing a finger. I think at this point, we need to come up with a resolution. What do we want to talk about at this retreat? Stick to those items. Do we want to extend the invitation for the December 6th meeting to the other boards, the current board?
Definitely not.
As a board,
Definitely
I don't
not.
think we can say we can't include ourselves.
We definitely can, because it won't be a board meeting. It's not really even necessarily a we. It'd be a meeting that only new board members that are going to be on that next board would be invited to. So there's, and if we wanted to have a separate meeting, then that meeting can be with those that are currently on the board.
So,
As a board, are we discussing having a board retreat where we are funding, bringing in someone from OSBA or food or the meeting itself? Or are we saying that we will do something offline that's not a board activity? Which one is it?
I've said before, last meeting, that there is a meeting for the new, or training for the new board with the current people that are staying, so that the 3 that are leaving can impart their wisdom. Because of all calendars and all the schedules, I am suggesting, since people try to make our regular meeting anyways, and since our regular meeting is actually on the 10th, this coming month, November, I am suggesting that we meet then, after the board meeting.
Will that be with an OSBA rep? Because we kind of have,
I mean, why would that,
normal, regular stuff.
just to
so.
be candid, Lindsay, why would that be necessary if you're leaving the board to go to a
I
training?
didn't say it was necessary.
Okay.
It was something that was
I think
part
at
of
this
it.
point,
In
guys,
this
let's bring
case-
it back in, guys.
this-
Let's bring it back
In
in.
this case, since we are imparting our wisdom, and then the very next week, they will be going to the OSBA themselves, I do not suggest, I can reach out to OSBA, but I'm not suggesting
I
that.
mean, I'm not saying we need it.
Okay.
That was just the original plan, which is why I'm a little confused.
So I guess what, if I could say, so the plan has changed, or the
plan
proposal
has
has
changed, yes.
changed to have that be a training for those that are going to be on the board next year. And if there was a time when you wanted to impart some sort of wisdom, that could be done in executive session or a public meeting, that could be done on November 10th instead.
So we are not doing a retreat.
No, it doesn't sound like that would be practical at this. I don't think that would be practical at this point. And I think maybe there's some miscommunication. I was not here last month. I would have spoken up and said this last month, but I had a family emergency. So that's why it's like, okay, that's why it's a.
Right, and that's why I'm just a little disappointed, because I feel like we've been talking for months about this and it's changed direction, and every time there seems to be pushback, so.
Well, again, I'll take the heat on this. Again, I do apologize.
Yeah.
And what I'm apologizing is, every time I try to start getting things going for it, something has happened with the direction that we were going that stalled it. Like, for example, the this summer, we just had to shut it down.
That was not a stall or something happened. We decided actively
Yes.
before summer that we were not going to have it.
Correct, and so
I think
here
what
it
he's
is.
trying to
we're-
say is there was a pause because we had a change in leadership. I think that's what kind of slowed it down for a couple of
Understand, there was a
months.
pause for leadership, but for 6 months, we could not fit it in.
No, it could
That's
not.
where I'm disappointed.
Well, we
Okay.
can't fit it in with new board members until after they're at
Right.
least officially going to be board member, and that doesn't happen until November 4th.
Yes,
So
And
it had
so-
to be after November the 4th.
right.
Correct.
If you're talking about having a meeting, you don't want 3 of us in, stop talking about it. It's not a board meeting.
That's,
And make sure everything's legal with the attorney, because I would hate you to walk into a lawsuit right away because some litigious person decides to sue because challenge on whether it's a public meeting or not. That would be my recommendation.
I appreciate the advice.
I think we consult with Jason to find out what we can discuss, or we just have something similar to like just a meet and greet kind of good, mojo type of meeting. And that's, I think,
On
all
the-
we have
on the
time for,
10th.
on the 10th.
On the 10th.
Yeah. I think those are our only options.
That-
So
that
do you want to
works.
reach out to Jason to see exactly what we can discuss? Maybe you and Lindsay can coordinate if you have some things that you were adamant about sharing with the next board.
No, it's fine. I think the intentions and the purpose has been clear.
Okay. Do we have any other discussion on that? All right, item 2, contracts to include on board agenda, treasurer and superintendent. Are we covered with that, or do we need more time to work on that?
There's nothing to present. That was-
Okay. Sounds great. Moving on to item number 8, board coordination matters. Board members' reports. Who would like to go first?
I can start.
Okay.
Did not attend the secondary PTA meeting. I will be at the next one. But something that Mr. Smith often talks about is that if we observe something from one of our staff members that deserves praise, we should point it out. So I mentioned I was at a legal symposium that talked about the school that Pearson Pipeline, and the 2 topics that came up, one was the hungry kids and the days off school. The other one was talking about foster children and trying, and our district apparently has a kind of higher percentage than many with foster children. And one of the topics of conversation in the symposium was a welcome package of some sort. Something that, maybe it's t-shirts, maybe it's something like that for the new kids that are coming to the school, just so that they have something right away to fit in. And while those suggestions, that's not what I wanted to praise. What I wanted to praise was I talked to the presenter afterwards, and she talked about how there's a countywide committee with people from schools, and that Kathy McNair is an extremely valuable member of that team. We're a very small district, and while we have someone on that team, Kathy's not just taking information from the group. She's providing information. She's providing valuable counsel to them, and they're very happy with her performance. So I wanted to call that out, that we are represented, and our kids, they're trying to do the best they can for kids that are foster kids, because they do, we talk about behavior issues, and we talk about the school to prison pipeline, and we talked about behavior and the racial aspects of behavior, and what I actually learned is kids that are foster kids are actually even higher in terms of the discrepancy. Maybe not with us, but in general. So it was just neat, but I would like, if that's something we can possibly think about, is increasing somehow their sense of belonging when they get here, to try and make them feel like they fit in more or quicker to the district.
could I chime in on that too? You shared that with me, and I thought, like, wow, that's like a no-brainer. Why, like, that would, how inviting would that be to a foster child coming in to get this welcome package? Maybe they're gonna be here a week, maybe they're gonna be here a year, but hey, you belong here, and that, I think that's an awesome idea, Janie. So something like that would be awesome.
That's me.
All right. Just going down the line then. At the FMPA, right now, Ms. Fields and her Voices of Unity and Harmony, they're actually at an all-time high of students, at 95 students. And for that, she's actually looking for parent help. So she's going to call it the Parents of Voices. And so if you have a free moment to help your child and help Ms. Fields as she is rocking and rolling with our course, that'll be great. Our orchestra is chugging along, but moreover, our marching band is actually marching along to the OMEA. So they actually have made it to the finals. They will be performing and competing their last for the Ohio Music Education Association this Sunday. So if you have nothing to do, come to the OMEAs and cheer on Finneytown. I don't know what time they are performing just yet, but if you stay on the band website, or sorry, the FMPA website, you will know when they will perform. The Finneytown Alumni Network. We had a alumni weekend recently. It was a great success. The golf outing was actually full. They had every team filled up. They had tours. They even had a Hall of Fame banquet with plenty of guest speakers, including Mr. Donovan Clark, who is a Finneytown grad and also an NFL player, or retired NFL player. The banquet that they had was also a kickoff for the Legacy Project. Those who haven't seen the revised gym, please do so. As an alumnus myself, I don't even recognize the gym. I know it's our gym, but it looks completely different from when I was a kid. So it is, and we have windows, which was painted over back in the day too. So that we found their windows, and so it looks great. They are planning to start working on the PAC hopefully next, but we need help. We need donations. We need people to come in and reach out to see what the Legacy does. So you don't have to be alumnus to be part of the Finneytown alumni. Just ask our president, Mr. Scott Hollermart, who has 2 kids, actually more than 2 kids. 2 kids graduated, 1 kid is a senior, and he has another one coming through at the junior high. So we have that going. And if you want to know the history of Finneytown and you don't have the book yet, you can get the book at High Grain, Arts Connect, Hairline 1, or come to the Finneytown Alumni Office, and proceeds will also go to the Legacy Project. FinneytownAlumni.org. Thank you to Ms. Susan, who told a lot of things about the Crusaders. Our K through 2 went 7-0. Our 3rd and 4th graders went actually 3 and 4, but that's Ironman football when they only had 11 or 10 showing up that day. They still showed up and had 3 big wins on them, and they were 4th seed, and they will be playing soon. Our 5th and 6th graders, they are 6-1, and they are also 1st seed in their division as well. So for being our 2nd year and our 1st year in this league, we are showing a lot of great signs. And unfortunately, there is some growth that needs to be happening, and we will make sure that doesn't happen next year. For the elementary school PTA, they are selling buddy cards, so those proceeds go. Oh, for the secondary PTA, my brain went ADD. But the secondary education, for the secondary PTA, if you haven't voted for the mayor of Finneytown, they're still taking nominations. They're still taking votes on it. Not to be biased, but I appreciate the cactus trying to run, but I think we have some better candidates like Minnie. I think Minnie was, but I'm biased. With that said, don't forget that the student council, on November 7th, there's a 4th and 6th grade social. And this Friday, those put on your calendars, it is our last football game. It is also senior night for our football, band, golf, and cross country. So we can say thank you or goodbye to our seniors until the next time they are actually are in another sport. So now I'm done.
I just had a couple of quick things. There's going to be a pizza, prizes, and brains reading night on October 30th from 5:30 to 7. Dinner will be provided. It'll all be free. They have different reading activities, so register for that, which is a great way to get your kids excited about literacy. October 23rd is the start of 2nd quarter. It's going to be beginning, so we're off to a new start. Basketball camp for 4th grade through 8th grade, November 1st. That's going to be at the Finneytown High School main gym. And then I saw something else at the secondary campus. I think they just created Linked Up Connect, and I know Miss Carol Miller's in the back. She could speak a little bit more about this, but they've partnered with the Hamilton County ESC, And they have introduced a new online platform that connects students with real-life work-based, like learning opportunities, internships, pre-apprenticeships. So if you're interested in that, reach out to your counselors for support. Also, FAFSA is live. Don't forget to register and create your accounts. So that's all I had.
I have a few small, short things. First question, this may be just a rhetorical question, Mr. Smith, so you don't have to answer this right now. But I was wondering if the ball is still rolling on the Whitaker property, our negotiations with the township. I live really close to there, and I get questions about once every couple of weeks from people in the neighborhood. Hey, what's going on? Are there still going to be condos like we saw at the zoning commission meeting? Where does it stand with that? And I've just been telling them that things are still in the works because that's what I've been told. But I was hoping to see that before this board is not the same makeup anymore. I think we were all happy with it. Can't necessarily speak for everyone, but that was the sense that I got, and the community majority also were happy with that as well. So I was hoping that we would be able to get an update on that in an appropriate setting at some point before the end of the calendar year, really.
Yeah, we're hoping to get back to the same place that you are. You know, I think it would be really important for this particular board to have ears and eyes on the project because they endorsed it and supported it along the way. We're waiting to get back to the attorneys to figure out how to hash out the last pieces of it. And as soon as we do, we will let you know what the next steps will be.
That's great. Yeah, I think people are excited. I mean, the idea of nice condos coming in, more permanent residents,
Yes,
increasing the attractiveness of the neighborhood, I think that's all very positive. I did get a chance to play in the alumni band, so that was really fun. I know Seth already talked about that, but I just wanted to say, as someone that participated, it was really cool to be able to come back. Thank you for all those that were involved in the planning with that. Also, I'm a parent of a current kindergartner, and for those that don't know, we went to the movie night at Finneytown Elementary. That was my first event as a kindergarten parent, seeing like all of the students in the school, and I was really encouraged. The kids had so much fun. They were running around in an appropriate way. It was just great to see involved parents and kids that have friends. And my wife and my daughter went to the carnival. I was there. No, the carnival was the same thing. So went to that too. So I just wanted to say my experience as a kindergarten parent, any kindergarten parents that might be listening, has been very positive. Like almost 100%. No one's not going to always be 100%. You're always going to have concerns because you want what's best for your kid. But my experience has been great. My daughter's learning. She comes home smiling and excited off the bus every day. I mean, that's not board business. That's probably personal business. But she said, I love school. She said, is it okay my friends look different than me? I said, yes, it is. So it's been very encouraging. It makes me tear up a little bit. So just, for those that are listening. And then one other thought that I had, and this doesn't necessarily need to be a discussion, but this is something I've had on my mind for a while. When you come into Finneytown, you see Springfield Township signs. And I know the township really feels proud of this stretch of the township, but this is also Finneytown. And there used to be some signs, like little ovals. I think there might still be 2 left on different side streets that mark, this is Finneytown. Well, there aren't any, except for our school signs. And I've always thought it would be great if we could work with the township and get some sort of permission to maybe put, it doesn't have to be, okay, like, just, hey, you're in Finneytown, like this marks that you're in Finneytown School District. I think that would help with the pride in our community, knowing that this is where it is, okay? People don't really even know where Finneytown is, even when they're in it. But when you're in Finneytown, it'd be great to know you're in Finneytown, because people don't even know. I'm not even sure if we have like an F on our building. I don't think we do. It'd be great if we had our new Fs, now we have our new logos, right? What if we had one of those at different places when you're coming into Finneytown? I suggested this to Jamie a while back, it'd be great if it was on public property so it could be, maintained. So that was a suggestion that I had. I'm gonna keep harping on it. I don't know how that would need to be done, but that was something I've been thinking about. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Eddie.
Right, I attended FAA. Let's see here. Basketball registration is open. At the moment, they are seeing lower numbers per usual, than per usual. So just want to call it out in case anyone's not aware. Basketball is open for FAA. Please sign up if you are interested. Soccer has a tournament coming up first weekend of November. They are struggling to find refs, so if you know anyone who refs soccer, it's a great opportunity. Reach out to FAA. If you need their contact information, just let me know. Wrestling has started, volleyball has ended. Sports are going as planned, and I know Gerald has been sending out weekly emails with a lot of calendar invites and everything that's going on in the athletic world. It has been very helpful to stay up to date on all of the sports in Finneytown and to feel a little pride for how well they're doing.
Yeah, I agree.
We had a finance committee meeting as well. I forgot to include that, but we'll go over that here soon.
All right. Our next item on board coordinations, we're going to talk about the super severance retirement assistance plan. I will be brief about this. I know we've been talking about this a lot, and I know it's been really heavy on a lot of our minds. I've prepared a small statement just so that I get my feelings out and like why I'm voting the way I'm voting. So I'll go ahead and take a moment to do that. All right. I want to take a moment to explain the reasoning behind my no vote on this decision. To be clear, my vote is not a reflection of whether our staff deserves additional retirement compensation. I believe they absolutely do. My concern lies in how the situation is being handled. And I will say at first, I was one of those ones that was for this policy change, but then I took some time and kind of did my research and realized that this was not the best way to do this. So I am not comfortable with actions that may compromise the professional relationships between our attorney and staff. I wasn't a part of the initial discussions when the decisions were made, and I believe strongly that if this is something our staff values, it should be approached through the proper negotiation channels, just like other contractual agreements. Additionally, I am concerned about the undermining of the professionals we have hired to lead and advise us. Both our superintendent and treasurer have expressed concerns about the financial impacts of this policy change. Based on their input, I do not believe the district can sustain this transition at this time without long-term consequences. My decision is rooted in a commitment to the future of Finneytown. I'm thinking beyond today to the generations of students who will walk through our schools. They deserve the same opportunities as our current students enjoy and beyond. If the union wishes to include this provision in future staff contracts, I would fully support seeing it addressed through respectful, collaborative negotiations. That is the process that honors both our staff and the integrity of our district leadership. Thank you. And that's all I'm going to say on it.
I don't think we're ready to have a vote because the
Right.
information that I got is not sufficient. I would like, if we're going to do this at the next month, again, our attorney has told us that we cannot pay the previous staff members, as we're not allowed to pay someone that's not a teacher. And that we've had a lawsuit about that, in another case, everything like that. I totally understand that. So those that have retired in the past, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do about it. But for the future, talking about the MOU, I think it's very simple, and I don't think the cost is as high as we think it is. So I would like to know, what is the difference between a teacher with 32 years experience and a teacher with 10 in terms of pay? How much would a super severance payout be if maxed? So at 32 years with a full allotment of sick time saved. How many staff members will be qualified for the super severance at first year of full eligibility? So that is either 32 years of service or 65 years of age and 5 years of service. No one else, because that's who it matches to. And I want to make sure that the retirement ages are for STRS and not for SERS. The information we were given today, it looks like it's SERS numbers, while STRS is every teacher's the same, 32 years of service or 65 plus 5. The lists that we have people at 30, have people at 55, and that may be different if they're not teachers, but I think most of our list is teachers. So I want us to be able to have this decision correctly, because the way I see it, it is cost neutral.
So I will address the different timeframes. Some of that is because when those teachers were first eligible, The STRS just changed their eligibility requirements as of June 1, 2025. So those different timeframes reflects the formal policy of STRS as it relates to when a teacher could retire. So in the last email that I sent, it represents the 4 teachers that I was able to identify as having 32 years this year. Now, there may be more, as there are some teachers who have experience outside of the district, so that could change the number that I provided you this afternoon.
But I didn't think STRS grandfathered anybody. I thought that the entire union, like the board, voted to change it for everyone. There's no grandfather. So when it's changed with STRS.
The top part of the spreadsheet that I sent reflects what it looks like under the contract, not under your proposal. So that second part of that spreadsheet that I sent to you shows you the 65 or the 32 years. The teachers who are at 32 years.
Right, and your sheet said, you mean the second part, the 4 teachers? Because on the earlier one, it had them at 31 as of 6/30/2026.
There was one that says 6/31/2026, but it also has an asterisk that says that he has service outside the district. So I know that that particular person that.
I'm sorry, there's no asterisks beside the one I'm looking, the 2 I'm looking at don't have an asterisk beside them.
Okay, I will check. I did not bring the spreadsheet with me, but I will check that when I go back.
Could I ask
This
one
should be
additional? This would be pretty easy for you to pull. How many teachers retire at 32 years versus go past 32 years? That would be an important piece of information for me. That should not be.
It varies because the
Yeah.
law just.
Maybe
just
for the last,
changed, so
say for the last 3 years, how many are retiring at their first year of maximum?
most people are not retiring at the maximum.
Yeah, first year of maximum, at the 32, or the equivalent of what that used to be. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Because it's not really a cost savings if they're already retiring anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, to have an extra super severance in order to, it's not an encouragement to retire, or it's not.
Well, based on his proposal, it wouldn't, because they would get the 2 years instead of 1. They would get 50% of their retirement as opposed to 25%.
Interesting. I might need a better breakdown of what the proposal is.
Yeah,
Just given what the previous treasurer.
I agree. I feel like the data we got has been a little confusing, and we need to break it down a little bit more and get it simplified enough to where it's a clear understanding of it, because the numbers I got, also, I had questions on them. It seems there were a lot of questions already sent today on them. But I would like a little bit more time, because I also don't think the cost is nearly as significant as we think it is. I also don't understand some of the comments on the process, because the process was followed very appropriately. There was no grievance process that could be followed for this. The only thing that can be done is bring it to the board. And the only regret I have is that we didn't know about it earlier, so that we could have helped the teachers last year.
We didn't know about it when the administration knew about it either.
So we're going to put an MOU, and I've been a union member since 2009. I've been on many negotiations for MOUs, and I know that the MOU has to be voted on by the bargaining unit. I actually had to find out where exactly it's found, because I didn't see it in I looked in the FEA and the FSP. It doesn't say anything about the it doesn't say anything about MOU. It just says that it has to be, we need to have, let me slow down. It does state that the representative must be in the interest of the simple majority, unquote. So we need to have proof of that majority. But also with the Labor Management Reporting and Disclosure Act and MOU, that's where an MOU has to be discussed, negotiated, and voted on by the bargaining unit or that union. So that's where we're at. And a president, they will put themselves at risk if they try to get themselves as an exclusive representatives. A president is a representative, but not exclusive. If they are, and this is not an emergency, and everything that, the way we define the president of the union, they will put themselves at risk of Ohio Revised Code 4117 if they try to push themselves. So we have to slow down. We have to go to the FEA and the FASP to make sure that the majority is at agreeance to this.
So
Oh,
why
yeah.
would our attorney let us do it before?
We've been talking this for months, and yeah, our attorneys, we've done MOUs without any
That
risk.
we've instigated.
Yeah. So I don't think this is, the implication is that this
Because
is
no one
rushed,
ever
and
fought
this
it.
has not been rushed, for sure.
So do you
We're
think,
months
I'm
into
telling
talking.
do you think the union's gonna fight this?
I think at
We
this
should,
point,
if it's an MOU, it needs to be we are accidentally, we need to make sure, I don't think they're going to fight this. I'm not saying that they're going to fight this, but as you and I have many discussed properly, to cover our bases, and you know my paranoia of dotting every I, crossing every T, and like I said, I've been on many MOU conversations, had to vote for it for my little tiny little bargaining unit too. It needs to go through the membership first. It needs to go through our members to make sure they have, because at the end of the day too, it's not their lawyer that wrote it, it's our lawyer. And it has been our interpretation for, well, how many contracts? And their lawyer hasn't argued for that, against that. So unfortunately, the past practice or that interpretation is now pretty much how we are going to move forward.
Right, but if I feel misled by my staff, by people that work for me, I can't imagine how the union feels.
Oh,
That's
are-
where I am. Like, if I feel like our negotiator misled us, which I truly feel, the union didn't know it. The union brought it to the staff in March. They brought this up to talk, and they were told they were going to hold off on it. But the administration were going to hold off on it.
I understand your passion, I appreciate your passion. At the same time, if we are going to break the contract, we have to take it through the membership just to cross Ts and dot Is. We have to make sure that they have. The
So
argument-
they have to write the MOU? That's what you're saying? They have to write the MOU?
At this moment in time, it's us telling the union what they're supposed to do. We are
But-
accidentally taking their voice away
So
from
if-
them.
That is not actually
No, we
the
want to
truth
write it and take it
at
to the
all.
union and say, do you want this, yes or no? That's
That is
it.
But
exactly
then
how it came
again, yes, so we need the union itself, not the presidents, but we need the union to make sure that they are
I
the
think
simple
we're taking
majority
this a
of
little
this.
too far, and we can definitely get this done.
So if the
Much
union comes to
simpler.
us tomorrow and says
Yes.
more than 50% of them want us to consider this, you're fine with us considering this?
We have to get the simple majority.
I also-
My understanding is that the order doesn't necessarily matter as long as both parties agree.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well,
I know what you're saying, but, you know, if you offer them something, they vote no, they vote yeah. I mean, it's,
Also, I think we have well established at this point that there was a lot of misunderstandings in the contract. So pointing out time and time again that this is something that was left in the contract over several contracts, over several amount of time, and that it was missed by the person who was negotiating is irrelevant at this point.
okay,
We've all
fine, but I'm still
misunderstood
telling,
it.
that's fine, but I'm still telling you, MOUs need to go through we are breaking their contract. We
For
need to
their
make sure
benefit,
that-
not. We
due to a
haven't paid anything
misunderstanding, that is
out.
not a break of contract, that is an improvement to the contract.
Well, sorry, I apologize. A MOU changes the contract. The term
Mm-hmm.
is used that I've been, again, since my terms of using the MOU, the term is used as breaking the contract. It's not destroying the contract. I'm not saying that it's being burned. The term that is used is breaking the contract because it changes the contract.
implication
It's either
and-
goes better or goes worse or just goes lateral. It's the term is
implication-
used.
The implication
So
with that
either
term
side can do
is-
that.
Yes.
Well, then I'm sorry for the implication of that term.
Jamie, can I ask, so and Anita, are you clear on what Jamie is proposing?
All I want to know is how many people this year, for the next 4 years, would qualify for super severance If paid out,
And was that the $450,000 mark that you sent?
that number's nowhere
No way that
close.
that's-
Well, that's based on
Right.
people who are, that's based on the old language of, that's based on the current language of the contract. And if 20 people were, the people who were eligible to retire, that is what that number is based on, and their sick days.
But
that-
no
so
one
that-
can get super severance
Sorry.
unless they
I
hit
just wanted to
very
clarify.
specific
So
requirements.
that number is for everyone but over 27 years of experience, if
Well,
it applied to
no,
them.
So there's two things in the contract, on that spreadsheet. The first in the blue is if they were eligible at first time that they were first eligible to retire with reduced benefits. The second column shows their normal retirement based on whenever they retire, what their severance would be. So that's what those two things compare. And that second one that I just sent out this afternoon, in that box, it shows what the retirement would be based on Mr. Ray's proposal.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. So I can say that I'm thinking about it. If you give us additional data, we'll look at it, but I'm probably not gonna.
Because
be
if
okay
we've got
with-
20 people that can go, we've got a way bigger problem.
But I'm probably not gonna be okay with changing the contract in this particular way. Just to give an indication to the board, even though I appreciate
For sure.
the effort, I'm probably not.
So,
And we're not voting tonight. I think at this point, we've all gone back and forth. We've shared our piece. I think we bring it to our November meeting and we have a vote, and then we leave it at that. We've shared how we feel. I don't think there's anything else we can do at this point. We've talked about this a lot. And I know it's heavy for everybody. It's been heavy for me. It's a tough decision.
It's not heavy for me, it's easy.
Okay.
I do want to be able to look at these numbers and figure it out a little bit more because I'm still very confused about what I'm looking at.
So just let me know.
Yeah,
And it's not just teachers.
yeah.
It's the same
It's all
interpretation for our administrators and the same interpretation for our second contracted or negotiated body.
Okay.
But we could give them all Dave. We're not voting on giving everybody what Dave got, which is as soon as you hit 25 years, you get a reward. And that was an encouragement to stay for Dave. It was not an incentive to retire. But he took care of himself, and
Okay.
the
let's
previous
move on.
board approved it.
All right. Item number 9, financial matters. May I have a motion, please?
A motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Was that Seth and
Mr. Reed, yes.
All right, and this brings us to Anita. And thank you for all of that. I know it took a lot of
Yeah,
time
I
preparing all of those spreadsheets
Hey, I just
along
wanna
with
make sure
everything
that
else
it's
you're doing.
what you
So,
need.
yes,
So-
thanks for doing that and
No
taking care of
worries.
us.
We can keep working on it till we get it right.
So we get it right.
I don't think, I'm not gonna change the numbers though, but we'll just keep working on it so it can be clear. All right. So the monthly financial report, this is the last month where we really won't have, we really don't have the budget established yet. You will start seeing those budget numbers come in the October report. So total revenues in the month of September was $1,310,699. Total revenue fiscal year to date, $8,476,984. I did want to point out that we received $490,000 less or $439,000 less in our tax revenue this year because there was property that went back to being tax exempt. I know that probably in May, I think, David mentioned how we had received an additional $400,000 of tax revenue. Well,
Take it back.
it went back.
Back to taxes, we're talking
Tax exempt property.
religious institutions or schools.
Correct, or halfway houses, or any not-for-profit that, and a hospital.
Hospitals, yeah,
So,
okay.
and we are very heavy on hospitals right now in Finneytown. Total expenditures for September was $1,451,775. Year-to-date, $4,333,105. Salaries in September were $885,342. And benefits were $286,529. Our cash balance for September is $14,062,474.
Any questions? Are you
Well,
still going?
there's-
I'm so
I'm still
sorry.
going.
So sorry.
There's a lot. The depository and investment balances for September for US Bank, $1,037,393. US Bank Construction, $1,836,094. Star Ohio Construction Number One, $3,165,300. Star Ohio, $28,384,286. Star Ohio Construction Number Two, $3,305,343. Star Ohio Local Share, $152,899. And Star Ohio State Share, $3,882,896. Item C, the interest earned on depository and investment accounts as of September 30th. In the general fund, $104,713. In the construction fund, $23,292 or $293. In the classroom facilities fund, interest earned was $15,716. If you go to the last page of the monthly report, which I don't have anyone. This is the bond commitment, and it shows the project, where we are with the project spending. So our total proceeds for the project is $63,340,274. We've expended to date $26,477,498. So cash available is $36,862,776. What you will see starting in October is a real uptick in expenses for the building. And that's also going to be reflected later on in the, on the agenda when we start looking at change orders. So it's been slow up till now, but things are changing very rapidly. So we're going to be spending a lot of money in terms of building a new school. All right, item number E is the financial forecast. And that's an attachment. And I just wanted to give a couple of highlights about the financial forecast. So we're showing positive cash balances throughout this financial forecast. We're showing $4 million cash balance in 29 and a $1 million cash balance in 30. But what will be reported to the state is just years, this year plus 27, 28, and 29. That is because the state has changed the way in which we report the forecast. It's no longer called a 5-year forecast, it's just called a financial forecast, and it looks at this year and then 3 preceding years. So you will notice on the financial forecast that our revenue trend is negative. There's very little growth that's involved in that. We are a guaranteed district, so there is no real increase in terms of funding for us. However, you will see that the expenditure trend, particularly as it relates to personnel cost, is growing at a pretty rapid pace. And that is our biggest concern as it relates to our expenditures. I did not project a time for a next levy. I did not project that for 2 reasons. One being because it's kind of early to tell that, but 3, the most important reason is because there are myriad amendments going through the legislature right now as it relates to property tax reform. There is also a constitutional amendment that is gathering signatures, which would eliminate property tax, which would fundamentally change how all of us do business, schools, fire, police, it's a very sobering time. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with our revenue. I don't know what's going to happen with our funding at this time. We just need some more time to kind of see how all of these things settle out. And then we also need to begin to make some real tough decisions in terms of how we're spending money in light of no revenue growth. Don't mean to be a wet blanket here, but. Our student enrollment as of this fiscal year is 1,169 students. Kindergarten enrollment right now is 79. I know that we tend to project 100 students for kindergarten.
Yeah.
We may just have to have some conversations about, maybe we need to bring that number down to be more realistic rather than optimistic. But I did continue to forecast 100 students. I do believe that with the high school being built, that is going to increase some students, but we don't know what that total effect will be.
Can I say something real quick? Okay, I said this previously when Dr. Banks was superintendent. The suggestion I'd like to make is that prospective Finneytown families could get a tour of the school during school hours so that they can see the great things that we are doing here. I think that would help, especially for kindergarten parents, during school hours, during instruction, not when there's nobody in the building. Okay, so I
But
think
depending on the situation, that might not be
it would be
encouraging.
incredibly helpful. It could be a heads up that there's people coming through. So.
You know, I think that if you want to look at it in an authentic way, I would like to see how my kids are being educated. And an empty building probably wouldn't do it for me. So I do understand your passion for it. I want to see kids at play. Are they interacting with other kids? What does this feel like as it relates to this kindergarten experience that we're talking about? How far are we off from the 79 to the 100 that we always project? Is it a trend that's happening now based on live births in this community, or what is it? Because it's more than just people aren't coming.
Well, the birth rate across Ohio is
Absolutely.
down. I mean, it's down and it is decreasing. So we
Because
just
young
need to have
people
some
are
more parties. I thought that COVID was gonna help change things, but it doesn't seem to be doing it pretty quickly.
Was there a theoretical perspective on that, Ms. Ruffin, that COVID was going to help? I'd like to hear it.
I was hoping.
Okay.
We've had previous discussions to try to figure out, in trying to get hard numbers on the number of students in our district that attend private
Okay.
versus homeschool
Okay.
versus, and track that data. I've never seen anything in a format that was able for me to actually process or make any sort of suggestions based on that data, but that would be incredibly helpful to me, because otherwise I just have anecdotal data from people in my neighborhood, and it does seem like there's an increase of students going to charter and private schools or homeschool. But if we can increase the confidence of those parents, then they'll want to send their kids to Finneytown. So we need to figure out a way to do that.
So I think part of that was why we had wanted surveys, asking why we had exits, who was exiting and why. Yes, if someone's moving, clearly you're not gonna go to our school, that makes sense. But if you're leaving for a private school, what is the reason? If you're leaving
Yes.
for other reasons, why?
Yeah.
And it seemed to be a struggle to get clear data on that. I know we had some issues.
I don't know
with
if we ever
surveys.
got it for the
We've been offered to
students.
make the calls.
Right,
Yeah,
yes.
we
We talked about interviews. One of the things that we had said was we needed to start a trend data, not just one time.
Very good.
Have the same standard questions essentially that we are always asking. We had also talked about, what other, there were a few different.
That's something
surveys on
that we'd
it.
like to see for student exit surveys. I think the board
Well, I
already
think
talked
the
about
other-
that.
the other part
We could
of
discuss
that-
this at another meeting, I know, but.
The exit survey is one dimension of it, but there might be another component to it. For the 79 that are here, what makes you come here? So it could be something as we need to have more of getting the word out about what we offer, because it's obvious the 79 believe in something.
Yes, and then also with that is just a general culture climate survey, not just for the staff, but also for the families. I know Cincinnati Public does one every year. How do you
Similar to what we
feel?
did for Beyond Difference is Finneytown, that was
the
helpful.
whole,
Yeah.
yes, and it was good to have, and that way we could see, okay, well, this data this year went down really low, or it didn't grow as much as we expected, let's focus here, and keep the kids before they get to that exit.
Very good.
I like that.
Sorry to interrupt your,
I will continue.
thank you.
Sorry.
Some potential opportunities to prepare for and take advantage of. One of the things that one thing that I want to highlight, and that is our unrestricted state funds. Our state, we are on a guarantee. However, the state of Ohio has DPIA funds, which we've talked about before, disadvantaged pupil IA. Funding, and that increased to $1,136,573 in this fiscal year from $932,000 in fiscal year '25. So while it is good to be getting these funds, however, because they are restricted and can only be used in a certain way, that does limit some of the flexibility around those funds. And then I wanted to just briefly talk about EdChoice because I was asked to provide some information about how that is affecting Finneytown. And so I was able to find out that in fiscal year 2025, with the EdChoice expansion, 244 students took advantage of EdChoice expansion. 10% was for low income, and then the 90% was for not low income qualified.
Is that in here? Is that,
No, I did not
Oh,
write
okay.
that in here.
okay.
Yeah. And then for fiscal year '26, I have that 247 students are participating in the expansion of EdChoice.
Ms. Ruffin, is there a particular grade?
It is, wait, what's your question?
What was the percentages again?
So 10% for low income qualified, and then 90% for not low income qualified. So looking at the numbers, it is pretty evenly distributed through grades of the children that are using.
Do we know how many of them ever came to our school?
That's what I wanted to know
That was
too.
going to be
That
the
piece I
next
don't know,
question.
I'm just giving you the data
Yeah.
from EdChoice.
Yeah, and then that's great data to know. It'd be good to know if any.
No, but I do
Right.
think that parents do have a right to
Yeah, for
choose
sure,
homeschooling.
but it'd be good to know
Well,
that if there's been an increase as a result of this.
So
or-
so we wouldn't be able to know it for EdChoice expansion because EdChoice expansion just occurred last year.
Mhm.
That was
Yeah.
the first year.
Yeah,
Now, I
Yeah.
will say that in fiscal year '26, so far, 247 students are participating as opposed to 244.
I'm curious about the data that supports how many of those students were inducted into the National Honor Society and transitioned. That's what I'm looking for. I'll find it.
Okay.
Challenging you.
Wow, yes, you are. Thank you. I don't
That
have
is
that
an
data right
excellent
here.
question.
I want to know. I want to know.
Okay.
That is a good question.
I might look for it tonight
Awesome.
while I'm sitting right here.
Oh, well, no, I'm supposing you're going to pay attention to the question.
Right.
Are there any questions about the financial forecast? I did include on your financial forecast in the back pages, there is the student enrollment projections as well as staffing. I will say that the next coming year, you will be seeing more, we will have more financial committee meetings because things are so much in flux with the legislature, and we just need to make sure that we're making informed decisions, not acting out of fear, but
Mhm.
acting out of fact.
Very good.
So we'll be working together, calling the voting. Okay, I feel like I'm going on and on.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
you did-
no, that
this
was
is-
great.
this
That was
is so great to
wonderful.
be able to
Yes,
have
that was great.
you know, for you to go through everything.
Yes.
It's great. So,
So, item F. Item F is approval of advances back to the general fund. If you remember, in June, David, the prior treasurer, moved funds out of the general fund into the grants so that we would not have a negative balance. I am beginning now the process of paying that back. So I just need for you to go ahead and approve that. And then item number G, it's not a number G, it would be letter
Letter.
G. I need help with literacy apparently, right?
You got it.
All right, I'm the first student with literacy. Okay, so letter G is the approval of payments for a couple of invoices that were issued prior to a valid purchase order being established. The first one is for $50,000. This is one that has to do with paying Hamilton County Developmental Disability Services. This is not one that we would have necessarily anticipated, so it does make sense that it is coming in after a valid purchase order, before a purchase order is established. So we don't really know all of the numbers for special education services that are being provided until we have the students enrolled in the district. The second invoice or purchase order is for $71,897, and this is related to work that had to be done by Duke Energy for the building project.
And is that on here for tonight for approval?
That was the amended part.
Okay, yes, what you told
The
earlier.
addition,
Okay, gotcha,
actually,
yes.
to the agenda, so that will be added
Gotcha.
on the official documents.
And funding for that would come out of the building fund, not our general fund?
This one actually is coming out of our money because it's part of what we're responsible to do to get the building in order.
This didn't have to do with the gas leak, did it?
This is the refeed, so this is
Okay.
associated with work that's going to be happening over winter break.
Not there.
There'll be an additional change order. This is refeeding electric coming from Sherry Watson.
So not the easement or whatever the other term was. There's one on there.
Yeah, there's more,
Okay.
there's more to share.
Oh, there's more to share.
Okay.
Remember, I said that we're ramping up for construction, so you will see that as we, so if there are no more questions, may I have a roll call?
Yes.
Mr. Lisa,
Yes.
Mr. Pop,
Yes.
Mr. Wright,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson.
Yes.
All right. Motion passes. Moving on to item number 10, superintendent's recommendations.
Yes, the adoption of the consent calendar for letter A, approval of contracts. I'd like to give a special kudos to Dr. Warmack. There was a trainer that was that we had from a local
We need a
hospital.
motion and second.
Hmm?
A motion and a second.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was anxious.
You're good.
I've been trying to do this.
Yes.
So moved.
Yes.
All right.
second.
Okay.
All right, thank you. But he, the more sports you have, the more trainers you need. And when you don't have enough trainers, then you have more injuries that develop along the way. So I'm actually very impressed that he was able to get the trainer. It's part-time, but it beats not at all. And I know that Ms. Miller worked with him on that, trying to make sure that we had the right trainer in place. Hopefully we can get this reestablished, because it's important to have the right people out there taking care of the kids to determine, do they go back on the field or do they, just rest it out for the rest of the time. So the trainer piece is very important. Letter B, approval of payment. I may need some assistance from Dr. Dinan or Mr. Anderson. This person, are they the detention monitor, Apex, or tutoring? That's 3 different things. Ms. Miller?
Depends on the day, and we might have some kids in there who have potential, we might have a couple that are working on Apex recovery, it just depends. We open it up.
Okay, all right. So it's really not a combination that you're in detention and you're on Apex, because that wouldn't motivate me very much.
No, not necessarily.
Okay, all right, thank you. Sorry.
But if you're in there and you do have Apex, then you need to work on it.
Very good. All right, okay. How many students can he handle? Not handle, but how many does the room hold?
I mean, it'll hold 15, 20, but we don't like that on them
Okay, all right. And he's the same person all the time?
until
Okay.
baseball season, because he's our head baseball coach.
That's what I was getting to, because I looked down the road. Okay,
We will back up.
all right, thank you.
Yep.
Approval of contract athletic supplemental, that's letter C. And I'd like to hold on letter D. I need more explanation on letter D.
Are we not going to have those anymore? Like it's-
I need to know, this says
One or
rescinded?
two.
No,
It's
so,
later, they're getting 2 people into one room.
Very good. Okay, all right. When I see rescind something, it bothers me, because I have to figure out, is it
don't want to
valuable?
overpay them because they're sharing the responsibility with someone else.
Thank you.
Who won't.
Letter E, academic supplemental. Letter F, approval of athletic support roles and payments. And I'm sure this is based on how often the sport is played and the practices that go along with it. Approval of payment classified staff members. Ms. Ruffin, I don't see a number for this one.
So those refer to the item above. So if, for instance, Sandy Haskins acts as the gate attendant for high school basketball,
Okay.
then she would get in.
Only 3?
Usually, yes.
Okay.
Sometimes it's 4.
Okay, letter H, approval of payment certified staff members. Letter I, approval of treasurer's office support pay rate. Does that me or you?
It's my person, but you're handling it.
Well, you smiled at me, so I thought it was okay to do it.
It's fine.
Okay, all right.
It's your superintendent.
Letter J, approval of substitute rates. And then the hourly rate for substitute nurses and the daily substitute nurses rate. I read the information on letter K, and I know the kids have to be excited about this band trip to the American Grand National Championships. I think the Finneytown band is like positioned to kind of do some extraordinary things.
Make some noise. How's
Yeah,
that?
take the show on the road. I mean, we're taking over Ohio. We might as well take care of Indiana too. And approval of yearly student tuition rate. And I want to make sure I sound this out. The yearly tuition rate now is $9,076.23. And finally, not finally, well, there's a letter M, acceptance of donations. Cash donation of $582.59 to the Finneytown School District counselors from Northminster Church.
Any
And-
questions? May I have a roll call vote, please?
That's me. Mr. Plow,
Yes.
Mr. Wright,
Yep.
Mr. Reed,
Abstain.
She's not on it.
Karen's writing yes. Ms. Lee,
Yes.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes. Motion passes. Moving on to item number 11, approval of resolution. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Ms. Lee,
Yes.
Ms. McMullen,
Yes.
Mr. Plow,
Yes.
Mr. Wright,
Yep.
Mr. Reed.
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving on to item number 12, authorizing agreement with Prodigy Building Solutions. May I have a motion, please?
I'll motion.
Second.
Any discussion on this? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Sure, Ms. McMullen,
Yes.
Mr. Plow,
Yes.
Mr. Wright,
Yep.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Reed.
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving on to item number 13, approval of property easement. May I have a motion, please?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Any questions on this?
Short explanation, Grant, if you can.
Sure.
And that's,
So this has to do with updating the electric on secondary campus. So this is going to be an easement coming in off of Cherry Blossom, kind of follows the new electrical feed into where it's going to be coming into the new building.
Okay.
These just weren't in place in the past, and so this will be in place.
all right. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Plow,
Yes.
Mr. Wright,
Yep.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Ms. Lee,
Yes.
Mr. McMullen.
Yes. Motion passes. Moving on to item number 14, resolution authorizing superintendent designee change order authority up to $75,000. Could you provide a little bit of context on this? And I'm sorry I didn't get to it prior.
This is an attempt to be in line with OFCC in
Okay.
terms of change orders. The project manager has a $75,000 change approval, so we're giving this to the superintendent as well, or his designee, which would be Grant, to make change orders.
In the past, it's been 50,000, right?
Yes, so we changed it
Increase.
to 75.
Right.
For streamlining purposes, streamlining.
For sure.
Inflation.
Okay. Any discussion on this? May I have a roll call vote, please?
You need to-
Oh, sorry.
I'll make the motion.
Okay,
I'll second.
thank you. And then we'll do this. Okay, Ms. Lee,
Yes.
Ms. McMillan,
Yes.
Mr. Pop,
Yes.
Mr. Ray,
Yep.
Mr. Reed.
Yes.
Were you needing something, or?
No, she's just praying for me.
It's okay. Doing great. All right, moving on to item number 15, notification of change orders, GMP 1.2, new building, 7 through 12 building. May I have a motion, please?
I'll motion.
Second.
All right, any discussion? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Ray,
Yep.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Ms. Lee,
Yes.
Ms. McMillan,
Yes.
Mr. Pop.
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving on to item number 16, notification of change orders, GMP 2.1, demo and abatement of old 7 through 12 building. May I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
I'll second.
May I have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Ms. Lee,
Yes.
Ms. McMillan,
Yes.
Mr. Pop,
Yes.
Mr. Ray.
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving on to item number 17, notification of change orders associated with LFO project. May I have a motion, please?
I'll motion.
I'll second. How's that? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Ms. McMillan,
Yes.
Mr. Pop,
Yes.
Mr. Ray,
Yep.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Ms. Lee.
Yes.
Great. Motion passes. Moving on to item number 18, approval of substitute teachers provided by Comprehensive Substitute Solutions. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
I'll second.
May I have a roll call vote, please?
Okay, who wants to be first? Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Abstain.
She's not on it.
She's not on
Ms.
it.
Lee,
Yes.
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 Item number 19, review of action steps.
Okay.
We need an action steps designee.
are there any action steps?
Normally, she's the action
Oh.
step person. Normally, you're the one that have it
Sorry,
just.
I normally do have them, don't
You're
I?
really good
I
about
don't think I
that.
caught any this
Yes.
time.
I don't think I've
I just,
Okay. All right.
It sounded like there were a few action steps. Jamie, you wanted some updated stuff from Anita. You already got stuff written down from there
Yep.
Things
related
that
to
she's
super
written
severance.
down.
oh, yeah.
And then continuing to talk to the township about Whitaker would definitely be an action step that I would like.
Yep.
And exit surveys for students would be great if, I know you're doing lots of things, Mr. Smith, but it'd be great to get those started before any students exit.
Okay. All right, item number 20, announcements. The next regular meeting of the Finneytown Board of Education will take place on Monday, November 10th, 2025, Brent Board Office Meeting Room, 8791, Brent Drive, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45231. Open forum will begin at 6 o'clock p.m.
That's a week early, everybody.
Yes, good call. Item number 21, adjournment. May I have a motion for adjournment, please? I'll second. All right, all those in favor of adjourning, please indicate by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned. Thank you guys for coming. Have a wonderful evening.
You know,